Powered by Riverside FM.
If you have a goal, like the Minnesota Vikings have a goal, their goal is to win the Super Bowl. Does it matter to you what path it takes to get there? UP Nation, Purple Gang, Skull Nation, does it matter as long as we get there? If we get there, does it matter the route that we take? I was sitting back thinking about the path of the Minnesota Vikings, where our football team is right now. And I challenge you to think about that, where our football team is right now. And I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Like when me and my wife are driving, she's not a big GPS person. Like she always questions, why is the GPS taking us this route? And my whole comeback is, does it matter? Like sometimes it's only a couple of minutes off from different routes that it gives you. And I'm like, as long as we get there, we get there. Like it doesn't matter what route we take. Now, if there is like an hour's difference, then it matters. But to me, if it's just a couple of minutes difference, doesn't matter. I say that because the path that the Minnesota Vikings are taking is very unique. And a lot of it has to do with Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. You look at, and it's been talked about, you look at Kwesi Adofo-Mensah's 2022 draft class. In most instances, and it shows you the job that the Minnesota Vikings have done. It also shows you the job that Kwesi Adofo-Mensah has done, because that whole 2022 draft is almost nil. And to miss that egregiously, to miss that bad, that usually destroys franchise. Think about that. UP Nation, Purple Gang, all you guys that tune in that love the Minnesota Vikings, think about that draft class. Let me give you some names. Lewis Seen, cut. 2024, Andrew Booth Jr., Ed Ingram, gone. UP Nation, gone. Guys that we were counting on to be something. Brian Asamoah just got waived. Caleb Evans. Man, I could just keep going on down the list. I mean, this is as egregious as it gets. And I love Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. I'm a Kwesi Adofo-Mensah guy. I'll carry the flag for Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. But as I sit back and look at this class, man, sometimes it just boom, it hits you in the chest. The only survivors really of that class, Ty Chandler, who most people think is going to get cut. Once the 53 needs to happen, most people think he's going to get cut. Jalen Nailor probably won't be with the team. This is a contract year for Jalen Nailor. So he probably, UP Nation, won't be with the team next year. So pretty much the whole 2022 class, it's only 2025 right now. If it was 2030, it'd be a different story, but it's 2025, 3 years removed. And that whole draft class is gone, pretty much. Will be gone by next year. That should level organizations. A miss that bad usually results in a franchise that is crushed. That usually results in a franchise that has to climb their way out of the deepest hole that when you miss on an entire draft class, that usually kills you. And the fact that the Minnesota Vikings are where they are, UP Nation, is credit to the guy who made the mistake. Usually when you imagine messing up that bad on your job, whatever you do, Imagine messing up that bad on your job. Usually, there's really no way you can climb out of it or you get fired. But outside of that, what has Kwesi done to help keep the Vikings afloat? It's amazing. And the first place you have to look is free agency. And a lot of Kwesi's critics will come out and say that you can't stay with this plan. You can't continue to build a team with free agency. So then I ask the question, does it matter how you get to the goal? Even if you take a different path, a path that's unique, does it matter how you get there as long as you achieve the goal? Think about this. Think about Kwesi's free agency moves. We've talked about it. But if we got to talk about the 2022 class and the missed draft picks, man, we've got to talk about, guys, the additions like Byron Murphy Jr. to this team, Josh Oliver. Those were under Kwesi's watch. Blake Cashman, UP Nation, Sam Darnold, Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore's no longer with the team, but he wasn't a scrub. He was a solid corner last year for the Vikings. Kwesi brought that guy in, man. Jonathan Greenard. Aaron Jones. Signed Aaron Jones from the Packers, our rival. Had a career year last year, no matter what you think about his injury problems. And then re-signed again this year. Andrew Van Ginkel, man. Andrew Van Ginkel. That's just the tip of the iceberg. 2023 additions and the 2024 additions. UP Nation, do you want more? How about the 2025 additions? Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargraves, Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, Isaiah Rodgers, Eric Wilson. These are not scrubs. And it's what's keeping the Minnesota Vikings afloat. It is the most unique set of circumstances that I have ever seen watching sports. Whether it's basketball, baseball, football, we're dealing with our Minnesota Vikings here. I've never seen a general manager whiff on a draft that bad. Like usually people whiff on their first round draft pick. Some guy you draft high in the first round and then he turns out not to be as good as you thought he was going to be. Sometimes you put together a trade, you move up in the draft, guys miss that. Or then maybe you have a really, really good pick and then you trade back to accumulate more picks and then you miss on that one big pick that you have. But starting next year, unless something really, really turns around for Jalen Nailor and this franchise, the Minnesota Vikings, and if Ty Chandler somehow makes his way back on the team, Xavier Scott is putting a damper on that for the Minnesota Vikings. Think about this. That whole draft class is going to be gone. It's going to be gone. I've never seen a GM miss so bad in the draft and do so well in free agency. Then you think about this on top of that. After the draft, you could argue that we've done better with our UDFAs than our draft pick. The guys that supposedly nobody wants, that's too slow, too small, doesn't have enough skill. Kwesi has a talent for finding the right UDFAs and bringing them in, signing contracts. Ivan Pace Jr. is one that comes to mind. He's the guy wearing the green dot right now in the preseason. Whether or not that's going to continue into the regular season, I don't know. But he wore the green dot 2 years ago. Blake Cashman came in. Blake Cashman took the green dot. Now Ivan Pace is wearing it again. UDFA. Then you got a guy, and I know there's other ones out there, but now you got a guy from the Minnesota Golden Gophers that's pushing everybody in that quarterback room with the exception of J.J. McCarthy. He's pushing Howell. He's pushing Rippon. UDFA. And then you talk about the other UDFAs, man, that we've had. LDR, Nudie. We are finding these UDFAs that are non-drafted, and we have done a stellar job of doing that, man. Free agency class and the UDFAs are what's building this team. Does it matter how we get to the destination? As long as we get there, does it matter? I'm just amazed by it. And I know that there have been a lot of content creators, a lot of shows that have talked about the 2022 draft class and talked about how good the free agency class is. But I don't think people really sit back and think about it. I think Kwesi gets a lot of criticism for the 2022 draft, which he should. It's an egregious miss. That whole class, it's an egregious miss. It makes you wonder why. Is it the scouting? Is it the scouting? Because there's got to be some sort of disconnect. How do you identify talent in the free agency class but whiff on college prospects? That scouting department needs to take a look at what they're doing, what their process is. It's just night and day difference, like it's not even close. It's not even close. I'm telling you right now, if there hasn't been another situation like this that I know of where the front office, the general manager totally whiffs on a draft class like this, but the franchise is in the conversation for having one of the best rosters in the league. Let that sink in. Let that marinate. One of the best rosters in the league, and you miss on a whole draft class. Now, Kwesi's getting better. We got J.J. McCarthy. We got Dallas Turner. We got my guy, Mr. Jackson from Ohio State. He's getting better. He's getting better. But when you miss on a draft class, man, that should kill your depth. A lot of those guys were defensive guys. Our defense has never been better. The work to erase the stigma and the stench of that draft has been stellar by Kwesi and the boys. If you just sit back and think about it, UP Nation, Purple Gang, Skull Nation, we are very lucky that we have a team to look forward to watch this year that's got a chance to do some special things. Because if they don't make some of the moves that they make, man, we could be in dire straits. A miss that bad usually results in a 2 to 3 win season for most franchises. And it's something that you just can't dig your way out of. Look at some of the franchises that just struggle constantly every single year. The Cleveland Browns. I'm from Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns. The New York Jets. So, not saying that Kwesi doesn't deserve any backlash for the 2022 draft. He should be criticized for it. But in the same breath, if you take a look at it, the job that he and his office has done to erase the stench of that draft and put us where we are today as a franchise and Minnesota Viking fans, man, this thing could be, if those moves aren't made, if the work of Kwesi and his boys don't happen, we're in a whole different situation. UP Nation. We are in a whole situation. So Kwesi, Kevin O'Connell, B-Flow, their credit is good with me. Reports came out today that Ty Felton, Jordan Addison walked off with injuries. This is where our franchise has shown us they excel. So I'm not worried. I'm concerned because our wide receiver room is really depleted. But I'm not worried because Kwesi and the boys have always made the right move in these sort of situations. You need a left tackle. Darisaw goes down, we go get Cam. We needed a tight end. Hey, we're going to go get TJ Hawkins. Whenever there's a move to be made, Kwesi and the boys always come through. Their credit is good. But it's just amazing, man. It's just when I just look at the whole body of work, man, of Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, it is the craziest journey to success that I have ever seen. I mean, we're talking about the Vikings being a playoff team this year and having one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the league. And we've basically lost our whole 2022 draft class. Just amazing, man. Just amazing. This is Unconventional Playbook. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Only takes a second. Purple Gang, Skull Nation, UP Nation, as always, we will make sure to see you when we see you. Oh, man, just craziness. Skull.